So I figured I'd start today's video with a brand new video of the DJI Neo. Now in this one, I go through the gaps a little bit quicker.
Up there in the sky, there's a penguin flying high, always loving life, wondering how the brown things have survived, never seen life. A penguin that can fly, that's where you will find me. Up there with the birds that have wings, up there I can see things not seen by brown things. Up there in the sky, it's penguin flying high, always loving life, wondering how the brown things have survived, never seen life. Down below me, the ground things pound their feet. Down there on the street, things without feet, like me, made out of sea. Oh, what I see, things that amaze me. Fills my dreams.
Hello,
when
Sir
I
Lloyd.
sleep.
Hello, Nakoti.
A penguin that can fly. A penguin that can fly. A penguin that can fly. That's where you will find me, up there with the birds that have wings. Up there I can see things.
I could probably go under those people. I never tried.
Up there in the sky, there's a penguin flying high, always loving life, wondering how the ground things have survived, never seen life. Down below me, the ground things scurry by, out among the birds, flying wild and free, seeing things that no one else can see, high above, away from the debris. Down below, the ground things
While it was flying, I didn't see the cat, but Tom pointed out afterwards that there was a cat there.
Without a care, they'll never know the wonders up here.
Hello, kitty.
In the sky, I'm a penguin flying high, living life with no questions why. I wonder how.
As you can imagine, I was making sure I didn't crash. The cat was not a concern.
Penguin that can fly.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead and link, as long as there's no doxing in it or anything. I mean, I guess in this chat it doesn't matter, but if you're able to.
Nightmares, they are out there sucking up life, devourers of
I got a little bit lost there.
myths, but a chilling truth to bear, evil images from lore, revealing their ghastly roles.
The next time I hit, that'll be a lot better.
Company of friend or the stranger you met last night, legends of tales, each one holds a grain of truth, hidden beast within us waiting to break loose. Well, listen closely, for this is not the beast I see, not the primal instincts that dwell in the deep. No, it's the ones who revel in the dark release, twisting truths, bending laws that flaws that
Alright, man. That worked.
They find joy in chaos, delight in pain, their hearts tainted, their minds unchained. They dance on the edge where shadows meet light, their existence a paradox for wrong and right. They wear masks of civility and harbor dark desires, feeding on discord, stoking the fires, and their echoes in the corridors.
Yeah, I think here's where I line up for those rings.
Growing louder by the hour, listen closely, for this is not the beast I seek, not the primal instincts that dwell in the deep. No, it's the ones who revel in the dark release, twisting truth, bending laws, the flaws they can't. Civility and harbor dark desires, feeding on discord, stoking the fires. The lactose in the corridors of power, a symphony of malevolence, growing louder by the hour. But listen closely, for this is not the beast I seek, not the primal instincts that dwell in the deep. No, it's the ones who revel in the dark release, twisting truth, bending laws, their flaws they cave. The bustling streets where sirens wail and taxis race. A lost penguin roams, its flippers out of place. Among skyscrapers and billboards, it seeks a hidden truth, for it knows the darkness lies within the absolute. What are these enigmatic souls of the night? Could be your barista or the artist by the street light. Urban legends whisper tales of their disguise, hidden villains among us, you can find them by their lies. Listen closely, for this is not the foe I seek, not the mundane wrongdoers who blend in so sleek. No, it's the ones who thrive on secrets and deceit, bending rules, distorting facts and motives incomplete. The penguin feathers ruffled by nonsense, tracking footprints of malevolence beneath the city trees. It waddles past coffee shops.
Now, in a little bit, there's some neighbors gonna come out and check out the drone after I go through these trees, and I see them over there, so I slip around behind them. Crows are like, what the heck is that thing?
Listen closely, for this is not the foe I seek, not the ordinary schemers who play hide and seek. No, it's the ones who revel in the dark release, twisting narratives, bending laws, the flaws they seek. Heresy, dwellers of the shadows of grace, while they walk among us, leaving traces of disgrace. Their hunger insatiable, their motives unclear. In this concrete jungle, who will emerge is still there.
There ain't doo-doo you can do. You just say, well, doo-doo, and let doo-doo happen to you. A song of doo-doo, pocket full of this. Life's a mess, but we can't resist. Doo-doo, I'm tired, but I'll persist. Doo-doo into doo-doo again, what a twist. Next week the word is gonna be poop. Substitute the S word, it's a new scoop. And life gives you doo-doo. Don't you droop, just laugh it off and join the poop troop. A song of doo-doo, pocket full of piss. Life's a mess, but we can't resist. Doo-doo, I'm tired, but I'll persist. Doo-doo into doo-doo again, what a twist. In the land of doo-doo, we all unite. Through the stink and the mess, we see the light. With a smile on our face, we take the fight, turning doo-doo days into something bright. A song of doo-doo, pocket full of piss. Life's a mess, but we can't resist. Doo-doo, I'm tired, but I'll persist. Doo-doo into doo-doo again, what a twist. When doo-doo hits the fan, just take a stand with a smile on your face and a poop in your hand.
It's funny, that all came from
Life's a crazy
chat.
ride, but we'll make it grand. In the land of doo-doo, we'll make our stand. From the bathroom to the backyard, doo-doo's everywhere, but we won't let it bring us down. We don't care, we'll dance through the doo-doo
and it's
without a
not
scare.
all
In the doo-doo
drone. I have
kingdom, we'll
a
always fare. A song of doo-doo,
sort of a debate
full of
coming
piss.
up.
Life's a mess, but we can't resist. Doo-doo, I'm tired, but I'll persist.
Matter
Doo-doo
of
into
fact,
doo-doo
I'm
again,
coming in for a
what
landing right
twist.
now.
So when doo-doo comes knocking, don't you fret, just sing this song and don't forget. Life's full of doo-doo, but it's not over yet. We'll laugh through the doo-doo with no regret.
Hello, my name is Zurzu Zyklin, and welcome to my channel. How's everybody doing today? I figured I'd share that little drone video with you. So let me start today's video with a comment. That sounds fun. So this comment caught my attention on this exact debate. A debate from two people I don't respect and I don't want to hear from ever again. Now that caught my eye because I see this a lot in the debatosphere. somebody's always looking for their best buddy. Somebody's looking for the guy that they like, and that's the guy who wins, no matter what the debate's about. It could be about cheese pizza and 3 cheese pizza, and they'd still say that their buddy won, which really I don't know how you could form a debate about that. But anyway, so because it caught my interest that the person's basically asking for somebody they like to be a part of the show, or they really don't want to watch the show. I'm not sure if that's exactly what they were saying, but it just sounded like a disappointment in the entire show because it was 2 people that they didn't want to hear from. So I replied, I personally like watching debates between 2 people I don't like. It forces me to look honestly at the debate and choose from one of the contestants I would normally not agree with. This could help me make better assessments of debaters of subjects I don't like. Unlike the standard, who is my best buddy? Who do I like the best? That's cut short, and I'm not sure why I can't make it bigger. Give me a second. There we go. Where was I? Who is my best buddy? Or who do I like the best? That is who I am going to pick as winner, no matter what. That is a bad way to watch a debate. And that's really what I feel. I think it's a horrible way to watch a debate, that you're just looking for one of your buddies who you think is right to make comments which confirm your nonsense. Oh, that's unfortunate. I got about 28 minutes, I think it is, of last night's debate, and the reason why I picked that 28 minutes is apparently this guy picks Grok, which is of course the AI bot that deemed itself Mecha Hitler. And yes, I intentionally said that a little odd, but you know what I mean. And it suggested that that individual from the German party of the 40s, late 30s, and early 40s, that individual was actually quite proficient at solving white crime, and it was nonsense. But Grok is not an AI that you would use. However, Grok isn't always wrong. I've used Grok cross-referencing other bots, and often it gets most of it. It does have a slightly conservative lean to it, but that's fine. You know what I mean? I've noticed other bots have liberal leans, but I typically like to check multiple bots, and I don't disagree with using AI bots. Basically, what I would suggest using an AI bot for is kind of to double check yourself. Now, I'll give you a good example of that. Let me share screen. I didn't originally plan this, but we'll go ahead and do it. So we'll just go with Copilot. Okay, so here's Copilot. It's just one that anybody can use. And so I wanted to make it. You don't just ask an AI bot if you don't know anything about subjects, because I'll tell you, the AI bots often wrong. A lot, not often, but it gets things wrong into little things. I have to point out to the AI bot. I tell the AI bot all the time, hey man, double check this and make sure you're right on it, because I think you messed up. And 9 times out of 10, it comes back and goes, oh yeah, you're right, Z, I did kind of mess up. So let me double check what I think is what I asked the bot to get it ready. Reduce federal revenue. I meant 2, but it said boo. Reduce federal revenue 3 trillion equates to less money in the bank. adds 3 trillion deficit equates to TP. I don't know why I did that. It's probably a dyslexia thing. Anyway, but adds 3 trillion or adds 3 trillion deficit equates to a lot owed or not paid. And it gave me a clear explanation of everything, and then checked my examples, which is what I wanted it to do. So in your terms, less money in the bank, check, true. Less income in cash. A lot owed or not paid, check, precisely. The deficit means that it's not paid. Do you get what I'm saying? The deficit means the tab hasn't vanished. It's just been deferred. The government still has to find a way to cover it eventually. So yeah, they haven't paid or they owe the bill. Now, out of that, I wasn't trying to get the bot to think for me. I was using the bot as a tool. And that's the way I think people should use AI. Instead of just getting the bot to think for you, you use it as a tool to confirm what you think or what you don't think. Now, this guy apparently set up his entire debate through this Grok AI. And not only did he use the Grok AI, but he misread what Grok said. Grok said, hey, we're going to have less money in the bank after this big, beautiful bill, and we're going to have a lot more money to pay out. So not only will we have more to pay out, but we will have less money to pay that payout that we have to pay out. Anyway, let's start with this debate. And I do kind of have to also make an argument against Alex. Well, as I said, I don't know really either of these guys. I do know the Misfit Patriot. Supposedly he's a Republican that, oh God, was against something and everybody went against him. But really, I mean, the guy's just as Trumpy as all the Trumpies out there. Now, Alex, I believe he's probably a Democrat. And Alex, he uses... he's using reports that don't necessarily have any links to what studies are being talked about or where they're getting their numbers from. And that, I think, is a weak argument as well. However, it is a better argument than misreading something and then absolutely refusing to realize you misread something that completely destroys your point. The point of the topic is the big, beautiful bill good or bad? And the answer would not have a negative side because it's good or bad. Both people are arguing or should be arguing the positive. How you doing, GMK?
Yeah.
And then also, yeah, go ahead.
You understand what like triage is, right? Like when you're in a situation like where there's a big problem and you have to prioritize certain things. And that means that the person who has a broken thumb might have to wait a little bit longer to get their thumb fixed because there's a bunch of people coming in with severed limbs, right? I think that we're in that area right now in America where we have to put something on the table that caters to the majority, or at least
Wait, how does tax cuts for the ultra rich cater to the majority?
Hold on. That caters to the most important issues, right? And while you can, when this big, beautiful bill, which I did not support a giant omnibus bill, I said that I didn't.
Okay.
Well, now that it's here,
making progress.
Now that it's here,
You have to work with it and make it okay. That's what you have to do. No, now that it's here, you examine it, and you're not. I will show that you're not really examining this bill. Honestly, what you're trying to do is you're trying to string it into. You're trying to loophole it right into your argument when in reality you just said you don't support this bill. And if you watch this debate, it's over on the Raging Tomato. good place to, I mean, interesting place to watch debates. Nobody really has a good argument, but interesting place to watch debate. And if you watch this, if you count how many times this guy says he did not like the big beautiful bill, he does not support the big beautiful bill, but yet he's arguing for the big beautiful bill being good. How do you argue against something and at the same time argue against for something? It doesn't make any sense.
I have to at least look at it with I'm looking at this objectively.
Yeah, so
Sure you are.
No, I don't think you are, but in this bill, right? In this bill, I can tell you what I don't like about it. I can tell you exactly what I don't like about it. You're not telling me what you don't like about it.
I already explained to you the cuts to Medicaid.
Okay, the cuts to
That's
Medicaid.
what I don't like.
Okay,
Like I keep saying this. Let me just get this point across one more time.
Go ahead.
Cuts to Medicaid is very abstract.
But who
It's
are they
wait,
cutting?
hang on. Just let me finish. Cuts to Medicaid are very abstract. It's like, okay, what does that really mean for the average person? That's the part that I'm really interested in. How is this going to affect the average person? How is it going to affect people living in rural areas? Well, we know that people living in rural areas get 1/3 of their hospitals will close down. Now, I'm just kind of having a hard time understanding. Maybe I'm not communicating clearly about this, but like, how do you not see that 1/3 of rural hospitals being closed down is going to cause some people to suffer or die?
It will. It's
Okay, it will.
But
It will.
But that is the minor. You're talking about rural areas, right?
So those people deserve to suffer because they're minorities.
No,
Now, before he puts a Band-Aid on it, that's exactly what you said, sir. He explained to you, if you watch this debate, he clearly explains to the man that hospitals in rural areas are going to have to close down because of a lot of this big beautiful bill. And I can actually find an example of one hospital which has already had to close down because of actions that Trump made with the changes to Medicaid. My client has been affected. There's a card that he had that he used to be able to make medical purchases with that card, like medicines, or even if he had to, food, you know what I mean? He didn't have to, but medicines and things like that, his glasses and stuff like that. That card has now been removed from him. There's a lot of things that are affecting my client. Now, my client worked for most of his life, 20 some years under one company, the Rams Bonneville Power. So, it's not like he's just somebody that sat on his ass his entire life. He's earned a little bit of help.
No, don't gaslight and make it a false binary. I'm not saying anybody deserves to.
So then, why do we need to do this? Why do we need to have the
Because we're
bill?
fucking drowning, dude. We're $36 trillion in debt. We need
This
to find areas.
So let's cut people's medical. How does that make sense? No, if we're drowning, we fix our drowning by cutting things that are drowning us. Such as the Pentagon. Unfortunately, the Pentagon, every time its audit, you could check this, fails its audit. Every single time it's audited, it fails. So maybe we should look into a little bit on how much we're giving that. Oh yeah, no, you don't want to stop forcing wars around the world. You'd rather take the money from the sick people. And really, it's not even helping any of that. What is this big, beautiful bill doing? Well, you guys can look up the numbers. It's going to take basically $6 billion or $6 trillion over 10 years and transfer that money from our government, from our peoples, which pays it to our government, from our government to the rich people's hands. And it's going to use removing medical to basically aid that. And the only thing that have midnights, or the only thing that have closing times, is the laws passed for the lower class. All of the tax cuts, those will be codified, meaning permanent. Exactly, Nakoti.
$3.5 trillion to the debt.
And
So-
it cuts $3 trillion to the deficit. It
I
literally.
need to. Okay,
washes
that's the
out.
next thing. I want to see the study for that because I don't believe that for a second.
Well,
So
I
show
got
me-
it right here. It's
Okay.
it's the
Here comes the Grok.
the CBO, the Congressional
Yeah,
Budget
yeah.
Office estimated.
Wait, can you share your
That's
screen, please?
I don't know how to do that, but
It's easy.
how do I do that?
Down at the
Is-
bottom of your screen, there's a little box with a plus sign on it.
Hold on.
Right, it should be right smack dab in the
Need
middle.
help? Oh, plus. Okay, hold on.
And then
All right, we
the
got
list
this.
of that says share screen.
Okay, share
And then you just
screen,
pick
Grok
whichever
back.
one, and then whenever you're
Got it.
should-
Okay. Here you go. So
I'm not
and
seeing your screen.
this is just from Grok, right? But this is just the CBO, the
No, no,
Congressional.
no.
So let's read this real quick. Congressional Budget Office CBO estimates these tax cuts will reduce federal revenue by roughly $3 trillion over 10 years. That means less money in the bank. Now the next line is the bill adds $3 trillion deficit, including interest cost. And it says very clearly right here on Grok that it's going to add an annual gain for the top 0.1%. It looks to me like Grok is accurate. It's telling you that the bill is going to have, that our country's going to have less money to pay for what it has to pay for. And it's going to owe a lot more than what it has to pay. And where is that money going? It's disproportionate. It's very disproportionate benefits to high earnings. And it has an annual gain for the top 0.1%. That is from Grok, dude. But you're going to read it wrong, aren't you? You're going to try to twist it into saying what you believe it says.
Show me the actual source, not Grok, not ChatGPT.
I mean,
Okay.
I can go find it. I'm reading
Yeah.
off what I'm reading off of.
Yeah, no, show me the actual like source for this that Grok is using.
And I have to call out Alex because he's bucking. He's bucking before giving the guy a chance to give the guy a chance to make the argument and then buck. It looks a lot better if you buck after the guy tries to make his argument.
Would you want me to go find it? All right. So
Yes.
are you
Yeah.
now? All right. Instead of doing that, let's assume that the Congressional Budget Office has estimated that the tax cuts will reduce revenue by 2.5 to 3 trillion.
Wait,
And then-
hold up. Reduce federal revenue? That's just going to blow up the deficit. How does reducing the federal revenue?
Here,
help
let's
you?
go. All right.
Wait, isn't that the opposite? If we reduce federal revenue, then that means that
Reduce.
we're going
I
to
think
have an
that-
even more,
think that-
more. Yeah,
I think
deficit.
I think that that's a typo. But all right.
It's a typo? That's funny. You're going to be arguing later that it wasn't a typo, and instead this person read it wrong. When instead you read it wrong before coming onto the show, ready to spill this nonsense that you didn't actually read accurately. Now, I'm not saying I'm some genius or anything. Hell, I spell words wrong all the time. What I'm saying is, if you read it wrong, admit to your fault. It's not too hard to admit to your fault. I did it just the other day. I combined two stories together as one and used it in an argument. And as soon as I realized I combined two stories into one and used it as an argument, I came right to my channel and I corrected myself.
Okay, because so far it's not looking good. But
Here,
yeah,
let's go. All right, you can stop sharing.
And now
I'll
he's
go look
trying
it
to
up
get
and
off
we'll
of what
fucking
he
bring it on screen.
used.
But
let's
either
do it because
way-
I don't think that's true.
Well, look, here's the deal, man. If you look at any type of bill, you're going to have some people that are saying this is going to add to the deficit. This is
No,
going
just
to
show me one source, like one legit
Okay.
source that's saying this. It's okay. Take your time.
Now I have to give Finkel it here. I don't know if I like Finkel or not, but I have to give Finkel it here that he gave them the exact link to the bill and asked it to feed that through AI. Now that's actually an interesting idea. If you want it to analyze that for you, then that's not too bad of an idea. But it's really basically not using AI properly either, because you should probably read through the bill yourself, come up with some ideas on the bill, and then once you've read the bill, sure, feed the bill through AI little piece by piece and see what it thinks about each section. Feeding the entire bill through the AI, I don't know if that's a good idea either, because man, AI can, the more info you input, the more corrupt the AI answer becomes.
No, I'll just do it right now. Congressional budget.
This was recommended from Finkel. Point your AI to the text at this website.
No,
and
not
ask it questions based on this text.
Congress.gov. Not that's clearly a biased source. I don't want to hear from
I
Congress.
don't know what it is.
I want to hear from any third party source.
And I kind of get this argument here. It's why would I be reading? I mean, of course, he didn't realize it was a bill. I did as soon as I saw it. He didn't realize it was a bill. But if it was a study by Congress.gov about this bill, no. Why would you have why would you have the hen look over the fox look over the hen house?
I don't want to hear from whitehouse.gov.
Okay. Reports say Trump's tax law, tax policy center.
In other words,
If
use
you
outside
just think
experts.
about it logically, right? If we do a tax cut for people, that means that's less money the government is bringing in, so therefore the deficit goes up, right?
Sure.
Like this is just basic like common sense 101.
Yeah. Look, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole live.
It's not a rabbit hole. It's very important.
You're not finding your answer because your answer is not there.
Well, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole live and try to find something in real time.
Because it doesn't exist. Because it intuitively
Exactly.
No, you can say it doesn't exist.
on Grok, even Grok, the thing that you were showing me said that basically that it's the opposite.
You're just reading it wrong. It's so
No, he's not reading it wrong. I just read it. Everybody in my chat just read it. And I don't think any of my people in my chat are idiots. And I'm pretty sure all of them agree that the Grok said less money in the bank, more money owed out, 0.1% being benefited. How is that helpful? How is that good? How is that good? We're asking if this bill is bad or good. And the answer is that's bad.
look.
You just said it was a miscalculation.
So the tax, all right. So the tax cuts, all right, are going to cut taxes, right?
Yes,
Which is going
less money, more deficit.
Less money,
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So
more
how does it
deficit.
gonna
Benefit.
lower the deficit?
You don't even understand what you're reading, do you, dude?
This is why I don't want to do this in real time.
Because I'm sorry, like no offense, but that's because you're looking for a ghost. This doesn't exist. It makes no
I
intuitive
like
sense.
that. You're looking for a ghost.
There's just no way to explain.
Okay, so the tax cuts. I'm going back to the fucking original screen. I'm not playing this game.
So let me explain what he thought. He thought that Grok said that there was going to be an increase in revenue. He didn't realize it didn't say that. It said there was going to be a loss of revenue. It adds a loss of revenue. He thought it meant it increases revenue. And then he was going to argue that 3 trillion offsets the 3 trillion that was a deficit in medical because of in Medicaid because of this new bill. He didn't realize that all in all, it's 6 trillion out of our pockets. 3 trillion that would have been paid by us and gone to medical, is now going to thin air. And we're going to end up having to pay. It's not going to thin air, by the way. It's going to the 0.1%. I'm sorry for saying thin air. Let me correct that. It's going to the top 0.1%. And then the money that we have to pay out, we don't have as much money to pay in. He's a complete freaking idiot if he doesn't understand that that's what even Grok said. Right, and where's my cheap steaks? Where's my cheap steaks, man? Remember he said he was going to bring
Super shot.
I interrupted myself. Remember when he said he was going to bring down the price of steaks? Where's my cheap steaks? Eggs. Man, never mind. Get me off of that subject before I get rambling.
All right. Look, I'm not going to look for it.
All right,
No. Hold on.
on this one,
We have a real world example with Donald Trump
Hey,
in 2016.
oh man, Tom, you're going to be rich. I'm not kidding, because some of Tom's medical expenses, they're up there. I mean, one of his glucosameters is like $300 a month. So, man, you're gonna get rich, man. 1,000% of 300. That's just one prescription. Think about all the rest. You're in the money. You're in the money.
Where everyone said the tax cuts were going to do the exact same thing. Median household income was raised $7,000 per household, right? And then we had the economy that was booming along because people had more money in their pockets, which they put into the economy more, right? So that happened already one time. We've already played this game before.
So, first of all, it's not a game. Second of all, I'll quickly address this, but then I want to go to the present because we're going 10 years back. Is that the economy was already growing by around 2014 due to all of the Obama's policies, plus the economy was really taking off for probably a lot of other reasons, right? So there's a lot of good policies that Obama passed, and don't get me wrong, he's not my favorite president, but there are some good policies that he passed that caused the economy to improve, right?
Yeah.
And so the economy was already doing really, really good in 2014. It was growing and growing. And so under Trump, it continued that same trajectory until the pandemic when it crashed, right? So I don't know how you can say that Trump's policies.
I love this.
Wait, hold
on. What Obama policy?
The Affordable Care Act, I think, was a good one.
The Affordable Care Act, right? Which just was an absolute disaster.
It was not a disaster.
Improved the economy.
Yeah, it did, because it created a lot of jobs. When people have healthcare, created
a lot of government jobs.
When people have healthcare, right? They're more likely to be a more productive member of society, right? When they're not sick, they're more likely to work. They're more likely to contribute something. Also, nobody can
ever answer this question, right?
Can I just answer your initial question, then you can ask me another one?
Go ahead.
Is that okay? Yeah. So when people are, for example, when they're healthy, they're contributing more to society. I think that's important. Also, this has been studied time and time again. When people have healthcare, crime goes down. Crime goes down. Yeah, because, okay, fine. I can pull up the study on that.
Now, that's going to be a bit of a hard argument to make, that when people have health care, crime goes down. He does end up successfully arguing it, which I'll explain that in a bit, of course. However, I forgot where I was going to go there. But yeah, it's really hard to argue that crime is going to go down.
Criminals just stop wanting to commit crimes.
I'm not saying it disappears, but what happens is a lot.
Oh, that's where I was going to go. As far as what did the Affordable Care Act help? So there was a time, I should probably clear this real quick. Give me just a second. Good thing I double checked because I was wrong in what I was assuming.
My leg feels better. Let's not rob anybody this weekend.
Yeah, you're kind of making fun of it, but the way it works is that people who, for example, who don't have health care, they feel like, and they're sick, right? They're desperate. They feel like there's really no path in society, so they commit crimes, so they can pay for their medications and pay for their food. When people have health care, I can pull up the study, but this is.
Well, I guess Tom said you guys can't hear me. Anyway, I might have had myself muted. Tom, he didn't. I was wrong, so yeah, I'm glad I waited and asked before mentioning anything.
Study to death.
Did they study it?
Yeah,
like, look, man, I'm
but-
fucking with you a little bit, but this doesn't make sense in reality.
It totally makes sense.
No,
It absolutely makes sense.
It does not.
When
make
people
sense.
are desperate, they're more likely to commit a crime. Yes or no?
Let me try to explain what he's trying to say. Let's say that somebody's health really kind of like makes a turn, but not enough for them to be listed as disabled. But it's enough that it affects them being able to do their job. So in turn, they are then fired from their job. And they really don't have a skill set to get a job anywhere else. And with their newly found disability, that's not necessarily enough to make them disabled, but is enough to affect their what they know to do for work, then that could easily result in them having less money. And it is very, very well proven that poverty is a contributing factor to crime. It's of course not the cause of crime. The cause of crime is bad guy doing something wrong. But it is a contributing factor, somebody being without money and desperate, no idea of how they're going to get out of the situation. They might end up taking to selling something that they're not supposed to be selling, or they might end up taking to grabbing things here and there and seeing if they can profit off of that. That's what he means by being out of money, without medical, could easily lead to more crime.
Yes or no?
All right, I'll tell you what.
Wait, just yes or no?
Poverty affects crime. That's true, right?
And if we can get people out of poverty,
But healthcare, it's not. It's
Half
not
of them don't even know there's a
Right.
what
two
percentage
differences.
of American families do you think go
You think,
bankrupt?
you think healthy people, right? When they're healthy, like you're talking about a trickle down effect that is like 6 degrees to Kevin.
No, I'm
Bacon,
not.
way away
There's
from
no trickle down effect here. I'm going to explain this. When someone is
What's
sick,
the direct effect?
well, yeah, it is basically a direct effect. When someone is sick, right, and they feel like they have no hope and they can't get medicine, they're more likely, because they're at that point, they're more likely to reverse to crime. Also, when you're not healthy, you're more likely to get fired from your job, right? Because you can't show up to work. Maybe you're too slow. You're not really functioning well. And then you have no job. Wait, just let me finish. And then when you have no work, you're more likely to resort to crime. So yes, giving people health care, it's not going to eliminate crime, but it is going to play a role in reducing crime because those people now are having some of their base needs met.
Okay, chat. Can we do? Let's do.
Chat. Wait a minute. You just complained about him using an article that most certainly didn't link exact sources of the expert opinions. And you're now going to, this is a fallacy, by the way, and he's going to call you out on this. This is a fallacy, a bandwagon fallacy, to then ask the chat in the middle of a debate to support your idea. Dude, that is a large and easily recognizable fallacy. Matter of fact, Nakoti just called it out in the chat. It's the bandwagon fallacy. You wanted to use AI in your argument. That's fine, and the guy's article was not. But yet you're now going with the bandwagon, and you're going to argue that it's okay, and unfortunately, it's allowed.
No. Just what part of what I said do you think is inaccurate?
I mean, at this point, so let me defend Sarah a little bit. At this point, he's already asked the question to the chat. There's no way to stop them from saying yes or no at this point. But it is a bandwagon, and for him to actually look into the chat for support like that, that's you're losing this debate all over the place. First off, you misread what Grok said. You don't understand the difference between a loss of revenue or a deficit. You have no clue the difference between Medicare and Medicaid. Why did you show up?
I'm going to address what you said, right? Just real quick while I'm addressing what he said. Hey, people in the chat, I would like you to say whether you think
I'm going to let this
yes,
bandwagon
hold on.
fallacy
This
carry
bandwagon
on for a
fallacy.
second
Hold
as
on,
I
hold on. Do you
run
think
off.
yes or no that if you are sick, right, and you can't get better, you commit crimes?
See,
Yes
you're
or no?
straw manning like there's no tomorrow. I'm not
Hold on,
talking
no,
about what's
now I'm
happening
gonna-
with
now
every
I'm gonna-
person. I'm
now I'm
talking
gonna
on
answer.
average. We're talking about averages.
Average, that's an average, right? I'm just asking. I want to see how many people say yes or no. Yes
This
or
is-
no. When you're sick, if you can't get better, you commit crimes. Because you said, I want to be very clear. I want to reuse your.
Here, let me
words.
just pull. Let
You
me just
said
pull
there
up
was.
the
You
article.
said there is a direct effect to healthcare and crime, right? So I just reframed what you said.
Yes, you
right?
take healthcare away from people. There's a direct effect on crime.
No,
Yes.
no. All right, we have 3 no's. So right now, people are agreeing with me.
Totally irrelevant what some random people in the chat say.
Sure, you're right. Just like your article is fucking irrelevant.
No,
all
they're
right?
very
Like,
different things. Here, Sarah, let's share my
No.
screen real quick.
No,
Yeah,
no,
well, you,
no.
I'm trying to show you actual facts, and you seem
No.
to want to argue based on what some random people say in the
Maybe
chat.
we have a maybe. Somebody said maybe. Losing Medicaid and crime. If you're sick and you can't get better, you commit crimes.
Not every person, dude, but some people,
You
yes.
said direct effect. I want to know what the direct. You're
Direct
talking about-
effect doesn't mean that applies to every person.
Right, you got a yes. You got a yes. There's somebody who's
this is so juvenile and stupid.
Somebody is as
Let's actually have a good. Let's actually have a good faith debate.
Isn't this like the ice cream truck equals crime? Because in the summertime, the ice cream truck comes around, and then coincidentally, all of this crime happens. But it's actually not related
No,
to the
it's
ice
not
cream
like
truck.
that.
It's
It
actually
directly
because-
follows.
It's
It
actually
directly
because
follows.
really
When
bad-
people are desperate, when
No.
people are unemployed, they're more likely to commit crimes. Can we
No.
agree? Wait, hang on. Just-
Wrong.
okay. Do you think, let's take 100,000 people, right? They all lose their health care. Let's say out of those, 10,000 of them are not able to continue their jobs, right?
Let's do
Something like
another
that.
hypothetical. Let's say 1,000,000 elephants fly into the room. Are
Yeah,
you on
come
acid?
You're just like refusing to engage in good faith.
No, I'm not. It's just that
Just
your
then
argument is
hear out what I'm
bizarre.
trying to say.
Let
Just
Alex get
listen to
the
what I'm trying to say, and you
hypothetical.
can engage in good faith.
Go
I mean,
ahead.
like, if you want to just like troll, we can do that, but it's not. I don't think
No,
it's
I'm
wrong.
sorry. You know what? You're right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay,
please.
I appreciate it. All right, so let's say you have 100,000 Americans who lose their health insurance, right? So they're not able to get health care.
Mhm.
And let's say 20% of them have chronic health conditions, right? So 10,000, let's say 10,000 of them lose their jobs. The other 10,000 are less effective at their job, right? So their job is in danger. Do you think that maybe some of those people are now going to be more likely to resort to crime because now they're sick, they don't feel good, they feel like they have nothing to lose because they don't have their health care, they don't have their job. So don't you think they're more likely to resort to crime? Some of them, not all of them.
Okay. All right.
Just answer that question.
We're going to argue in good faith now. I just wrote down what you said. Okay. So 20%, 10,000 people, they're going to be less effective at their job because they don't have health care and they're going to resort to crime. And I'm trying to tell you that that is not a direct effect, right?
It is a correlate, and he's already explained it. The person can't go to work because they're ill, but they're not really, or in this instance, I'm not sure if he got to the childhood part, but the children that are not being cared or that are being cared for, but the person can't work. Where I think that's a poor argument, really. I mean, but it's what he went with. So, and it's easy to sit in my armchair and say it's a poor argument, but it is kind of. But where I would go is that the person is ill and can't necessarily go to work. He also can't find a job. He's also not able to be put on disability. So he's now out of money, and he might turn to not will, but might turn to some devious practices to make money.
Right. That's a trickle down effect. You just had to say that whole thing in order to get there. Do you understand what I'm saying? A direct effect. Okay.
Now he's going to explain it. He's going to explain that he does realize exactly what the man is saying.
Okay. Like a direct effect would be you get fired from your job
because your health declines and you cannot go to work.
And you don't have money, so you resort to crime. Okay, like that.
And you don't have money, so you resort to crime. It's a correlate. You just explained it as a correlate. You undermined your argument. You've done this several times. This is the only time I've pointed out that you clearly undermined your argument.
Would be, I guess, pretty close to a direct effect. It wouldn't even really
Then
be.
this would be also just as close. You lose your health
Exactly.
care, you can't work because you're no longer effective. Your brain stops working. You lose your job.
But again,
Okay, if you want to call it, I'll concede. You want to call it indirect effect? That's fine by me.
okay,
Doesn't matter.
okay.
Doesn't change the
As long
point.
as if you want to debate in good faith and argue, then we have to define what you're actually saying. So it's not a direct effect; it's an indirect effect. And
Sure.
when
If
you're
it makes you happy, we can call it that.
So if your indirect effect, right, is happening, then your indirect effect can also be explained by a multitude of other things, like Sarah just said, right? You know, this is the argument of when the ice cream truck comes around.
Well, tell me other explanations for why.
Well, I
losing
don't know.
healthcare-
Like there's the lack of father figures in the home. There's a lot of
well, the father. No, we
And these guys, they always go with that, the lack of father figures. Or are you suggesting that? So let's do that whole lack of father figure in the home. I know where you're going with this, that a single female can't raise a proper gentleman, which is weird because Shiz made that, or not Shiz, Boston made that correlation that was there a male role in your upbringing, as if a single female can't raise a proper gentleman. Now, the other problem with that argument is he's talking about, like, let's say his argument again is a little weak, is because there's a disabled child involved, and the mother, I believe, would be probably eligible for not having to work those hours. But let's say there's a mother with, I don't know, 6 kids because she's married to some guy who thinks that women have no rights, and she's nothing but a baby machine. So she's got 6 kids, and he then divorces her. Now she has to raise these 6 kids, and she, is really can't necessarily go to work because she's working 24 hours a day trying to raise your 6 kids that you abandoned. And now she has to collect, let's say, food stamps or something, where she has to then show that she really can't work because she has 6 kids, and that gives her an exemption. But within this law, there's no exemption for such. There's just simply, you can't work, you're able-bodied and should be able to work, your butt doesn't get medical. Now, the problem with that is, let's say the mother is just a horrible mother. She's taking care of the kids good, but she's not really looking for work. She's not really trying to better herself. Does that mean that these children, because they're attached to their parents' medical, does that mean that these children don't deserve medical attention? Don't deserve medical care. Remember, you guys are the children first. The children first party. Where the fuck did that go?
can easily dismiss that one because the people, like, this is happening to adults. Those people already either had a father figure or they don't have a father figure.
In order,
We're taking the way the study does it is they look at a sample size of population and they look at those places that lost their health coverage, and they analyze how those people performed on average. And it seems like they either 10-20% crime went up based on those people who lost their health coverage.
So I would need to actually look at all of the statistics of the study. But let's say hypothetically, right? Let's say there was a study that was. If I didn't even tell you what the study is, don't say there is one, right?
Sure.
Let's say there is a study where they took the crime statistics from a rural area in an area where there was a healthcare, there was a really good healthcare versus a rural area where there was not really good healthcare, and then they compared those two. That is a study that I would like to see, and I'm not sure if you know of one that exists.
So they're doing the study a little bit differently. I think they're doing it better. They take in an area, right? It doesn't have to be also rural. It can be also urban. They're taking an area of people who have healthcare through federal programs, and then they're analyzing what happens after those federal programs get cut. Because this is not the first time that on a state level federal programs like that have been cut. And then they're analyzing how that population is before and after the losing their health insurance, and they're finding that crime goes up as soon as the health insurance goes down.
Okay, I think that we're done with this. Like, we're not going to agree on it, but can we go back to? Can we just try to get to the substance of it?
Sure, but
of who is losing their health care? Because right now we're talking about a hypothetical, right?
We're not talking about.
We're talking about a rural.
We're talking about something. We're not talking about rural either. You're not paying attention. This is rural, suburban, and urban. We're talking about this has happened in the past. That's how they get this information. We're talking about what happens to communities that lose their health insurance.
Who is losing their insurance? I've told you.
The people who need public aid for health care. A lot of them will be losing it.
What would you like? Would you like specific names?
No,
would you like?
I mean, what do you think is a $3 trillion cut? I'll tell you what a $3 trillion cut is. A $3 trillion cut is a bunch of people being pushed off of healthcare for nonsensical reasons. What is a huge bill like this bad for? A huge bill like this, a big, beautiful, fat-filled bill. We always try to avoid fatty bills when we make bills because a fatty bill can always be interpreted any way anyone wishes. This is why we don't make big, beautiful bills.
You to give me the demographics of the people that are losing their health insurance, because I'm telling you right now, it's adults aged 19 to 64 that can't work 80 hours a month. And you're telling me that that's a huge problem and I'm not seeing it. And we've gone on to this. How long are we in? 54 fucking minutes on this one topic, right? Where you can't even acknowledge that it's a good thing to tell people, if you want health insurance, you need to work 20 hours a week.
Even if it's 80 hours a week, I would agree with that argument. I absolutely would agree with that argument. But there's no provisions in place in this bill that I can find that allow for somebody to give a reason why they can't work those hours.
Sorry, a month, right? A month.
So federal work requirements are not the only way that Medicaid is being cut. So that's just one of the ways, right?
Normal people work 160 hours a month. We're asking for.
Okay. Let's.
No, I believe the bill is asking for 80 hours a month, and really, that's not too hard to ask for somebody to put forth 80 hours a month to either looking for work or acquiring work and working. But it is hard to ask for of a mother who just ended up getting a divorce. She's lived, you know, 5 years with a dude, or her oldest kid is 5 years old, and she has 6 kids because the dude's the whole you need to be my trad wife, and she went with the trad wife thing, but then he divorced her and left her with 6 kids. He don't want to take care of those 6 kids. Now she has to figure out how to find work and take care of 6 kids. And she doesn't have any money because she didn't have work before. She was a trad wife. Now she has to try to figure out how she's going to find work to begin with. And that would be a problem. That would be a problem to find the 80 hours of work week or work a month. But yeah, 80 hours isn't too hard to ask. However, it is hard to ask in certain scenarios, and those people will be removed from their health care. And I do not believe those 6 children should have their health care cut, all because you just want to make the other side hurt. And that's a lot of what that big, beautiful bill is. You know what that big, beautiful bill is? That big, beautiful bill is 99.9% butt hurt, and let's make the other guys hurt. And it's all based around making the rich richer.
Well, let's unpack this. So the reason I don't think it's a good idea is because the end result still involves
Correct.
a lot of people getting kicked off healthcare.
Absolutely correct.
Okay, good thing, except for the fact that it increases crime, it causes people to die, it fucks over their children. Like, do the children? Let me ask you this. So there's let's just go along with what you're saying. Let's say there's a lazy mother who just doesn't want to work because she wants to smoke weed all day, right? And she also takes care of her kids. Let's say
They're all over TikTok.
Sure. Okay.
Shoot, if I look, the whole internet's live.
Well, let's say
I
she
never
maybe
worry
deserves to
about none
lose
of
her
that.
health care according to your logic. But do her kids deserve to suffer because of the mom? Because that's exactly what's going to happen.
So what you're saying is if lazy people who abuse the system have kids, we should allow them to abuse the system.
Well, no, we're not talking about people who abuse the system. This lady so far is complying with the rules.
You just said that she wasn't. You just said that she
No,
deserves. You just said she deserves to.
I said according to your logic, she deserves.
Okay, so what are we talking about? All right, look, let's go here. Let
me do a more simple one.
No.
Let me do a more simple one.
Hold on. I've listened to 1,000 of your hypotheticals.
Yeah, but you don't really answer.
Okay, ask me for an answer on this final one. I will give you a direct answer, and then I'll go.
Okay, sounds good. Let's do this scenario. Okay,
right, I'm writing it down.
Okay. Good. You want me to do it in the Trump voice, or you want me to
just do it however you do it? I want to know what you want.
Listen, it's a Patriot. Okay, we're going to talk about this shit. Okay. So let's say you have, for example, you have a mother, right? And mother. And let's say, for example, she has 3 children, right? And she is one of those with special needs, and she
retarded.
Retarded. Ultra retarded, like beyond retarded.
3 plus 1 retard. Got it.
Yes. Well, yeah, whatever. So one is retarded, and he requires like basically 24/7 care. So the mother is taking care of those kids, right? Then because she has to do that, she doesn't get she's not able to meet the work requirement, and she loses her health care. Now, whatever you think about the mother, do you think the kids of that mother deserve not to have health insurance, which will negatively affect their lives?
Okay.
Answer this question directly.
So a mother has 3 kids. One of them's retarded. She has to take care of the retarded kid 24/7. So she can't work 80 hours a week. So she has health care revoked. How many of those situations are in America?
One is
hair. That's another fallacy. That's the hair of the dog fallacy. How many? Is this one of those rare things? Well, actually, there's a lot of people in the United States of America who are put in situations where they cannot work primarily because of their children. And there's no way to get care. Everybody says, oh, why don't they just put them in foster care for the day? Yeah, if that doesn't have any funding, where do they put them? Where do they put them if they can't afford? If they're fighting just for basic survival of their home and they still can't work, where do they put their kids to look for work?
It's too many.
Doesn't
No,
she
it's-
qualify for disability?
Yes,
though?
that's what I'm saying. Like the kid's gonna
That's
be
like a whole nother thing.
look. When you have to go, look. Now, I'm not trying to be condescending.
And that is
You
a
have
good
to go to
argument
the
Sarah
state.
made there.
When
She
I keep
probably
on trying to tell you,
It's not
qualifies
extreme.
because
No.
with the disabled kid, I'm sure she qualifies for something. And that was why I was like, I probably would have went with a different scenario.
This is catering to the minority. When you have to go to the like trans women are real women and they have rights and blah blah blah. Just like the mom who has a
I
retarded.
don't give a fuck
me a
about trans people.
boomer.
I care about
No,
real
but
people.
it's
I
a
care about
terrible-
real people dying.
You're calling me a
It's a terrible-
boomer, aren't
But
you?
but you didn't
Sit down and don't talk.
deserve that. Just answer that question.
No, of course.
They
It's hilarious. Okay, I gotta bring this up. There's a certain crew out there, we all know who I'm talking about, that seem to think the word boomer just means old. They don't realize boomer is an exact generation of people. And if you call somebody a boomer who doesn't fit that age group, you're kind of misusing the word. Oh, but they don't know anything. They've just been told that means old.
don't deserve that.
In
So-
your hypothetical situation, which exists in the 1% or
no,
less,
it's going to
they
exist.
don't exist.
Okay,
If you
so
can give me,
so they don't deserve. So they don't deserve
And yes,
to
your
suffer.
scenario
So
is
given
accurate.
that, then why don't we take some of the money we're giving to the Pentagon, right, and
Sure.
give it
I was
to
being penguin.
Medicaid, so those kids don't have to suffer.
What kids? You're talking about imaginary people. All right, look.
These are not imaginary people. These are stories that you hear all the time.
I don't. You do, apparently.
Yes, because you live in your own right-wing echo chamber where
No,
basically
I know,
everything is
I
rosy,
Nice.
where Trump is like the
Nice.
grand wizard of life, and
I
that he's
just want to
just
bring
20
it to
miles
your
long.
attention, gentlemen. You've been on the same talking point
We can
For an
Okay.
hour. For an
So,
hour.
I mean, you could.
We can move on.
The
Okay.
big beautiful bill has a lot of big beautiful other topics. If you want to
Holy
get
shit,
through
okay.
something else,
If
it's
you
up
wanna
to
move
you.
on,
Summarize. I'm gonna answer his question directly, and then we're gonna move on to a new subject, right? Like I said, right? With your one situation that you're talking about,
Not a one situation.
which I will argue is the minority, right? Which is catering to the minority. The retarded kid does not deserve to lose his health insurance.
Okay, now there are two minorities. That's what this guy doesn't understand. There is a minority of individuals that are I don't want to say poor, but not necessarily doing that great in our society. And then there is another minority of people that are your billionaires and your millionaires. You, sir, don't understand that you are ready to kick this minority to the curb so that you can support the minority of the billionaires while leaving everybody in the middle hanging.
Great. So why would you be in favor of a bill that does that to him?
Because you're catering to the minority.
So what? So people who have cancer are in
Because
minority.
then you have
we
to-
should still fund cancer research.
Because you sacrifice the majority when you cater.
Yeah,
to the
that
minority.
happens.
Why
Who
don't
do we
you spend
sacrifice? The billionaires? The
the
Pentagon?
99% of other people who
How do
will
we
benefit-
sacrifice them? A lot of
because,
them will
look,
lose their health insurance also.
all right, here's the deal, right? Are we
All my
or are we
lurkers
not
ran
in
away.
debt, right? $36 trillion.
Yes, and the bill that
Okay.
you proposed
Okay,
wants
hold
to
on,
blow it
hold
up
on,
by $3.6 trillion.
hold on. Are we all right? So we're $36 trillion in debt. Whoever passed this bill, right, was our elected representatives, correct? Right? Those people that we voted in, we elected, they passed the bill. Trump is the president that we, the country, collectively.
That has no
elected.
bearing on whether this
No,
thing
no,
is
no,
good
hold
or
on.
not.
Can
I
I
agree with
finish?
you.
Can I
Yes, it
finish?
was passed legally,
Right.
but that has no bearing on whether it's a good thing or
Hold
bad
on.
thing.
No. Hold on. right? So in a constitutional republic, right, with elected representatives and a representative government, right, what we do is we go, hey, we're gonna do our best, right, and we're gonna elect you to do this, and hopefully it works out. Now,
The problem is we have lobbyists.
Hold on. I'm not saying that you shouldn't question constantly. You should, right? What I'm saying is when you haven't seen the result of the thing that you're saying is going to fucking fail, just like every other thing that a lot of people have bitched about with Trump, where
By
he
that
hasn't
logic,
failed.
By that logic, we should pass the shittiest fucking bill, and we can argue like, well, we can't criticize it because we haven't seen how it plays out.
What I'm saying.
That is exactly what you're saying, sir. You're basically saying, and you're also adding in a little bit of nonsense. You see, you guys voted out of feelings and emotion. You wanted to really, really, really hurt the base of the opposing party. That's really what you voted for. So you didn't care necessarily if the individual, the representative that you put in place was in your best interest. Instead, what you cared about was putting in representatives that affected, or that people from the opposing party absolutely abhorred. You went with hate voting, and then you expect those people that were there for a purpose of just hurting the base of the opposing party are there in your best interest, and then you can just accept blindly, obviously, whatever bill they put forward. Yeah, Hunter Biden's laptop, man, and he goes, yeah, and he brings up Obama, and I mean, so there's this presidential lag that's been talked about forever. It was said that the gains under Reagan were gains of Carter's ideas, and it was said that the gains under Clinton were gains of Reagan's ideas. And when the market fell under G-Dub, oh no, that was Clinton's mistake that made his market fall. And then when the market climbed under Obama, or they claim that it was because of G-Dub's policies. And then when the market fell under Trump, it was or I think there was, when the market fell under Trump, it was Obama. And then when the market raised under Biden, it was Trump. And then when the market fell under Trump now, do you see what I'm saying? It's an insane circle to keep arguing this. And really, this actually shows that both sides make the same ridiculous argument.
Is everything was done, everything in this bill, right, was done with the full authority of the federal government. Full authority of Congress.
Yeah, this bill is legal. It doesn't make it a good thing. I'm not arguing this bill is illegal. I'm just arguing it's a bad thing.
When Obama passed Obamacare,
I don't care about Obamacare.
No, it's a comparison. I
told you threw Obama in there.
We all screamed from the rooftops. We were like, "This is awful," and honestly, it kind of was, right? But
let's address another thing about Hunter Biden. Okay, maybe the laptop. Okay, the laptop bad. We get it. Laptop bad. Hunter Biden. What office did he hold? I would like somebody to name what office this individual, Hunter Biden, citizen, held. Ivanka Trump is making lots of money off of Donald Trump, so you can't make that argument. I mean, heck, Donald Trump is using the office of the presidency and U.S. tax dollars to fly over to Scotland to promote his opening of his golf course. That is effectively using the offices of the presidency to financially benefit yourself. Unconstitutional.
Like,
but
are we all right? Like, we're kind of doing all right. We're
well,
still-
because Obamacare was a good thing. It gave people health insurance. This takes away health
Listen.
insurance.
Now, one of the arguments that goes on in this is that hospitals end up closing down, and let's put this together. You have a rural hospital, and let's say it's the only hospital that affects two different entire counties. And he says 200 miles, but let's say each one is 200 to 300 miles in spread. And now you have a crash. The person has maybe 25 minutes to survive. Unfortunately, even with life flight, it still takes them an hour to get there.
You still have $1,000.
So yes, any rural hospital closing down is a bad thing. One closing down in the city, not so bad. We've got what, 4 of them here in Oregon, Portland, Oregon. One closes down, big freaking deal. Somewhere like, where would we go? Deadford. One closes down out there. Yeah, there's going to be a problem.
At least $1,000 phone. You still have
The Saudi
live stream
jet
platform. You
bribe.
got a couch behind you, and you're on the Affordable Care Act, so you're good. Like, so let's move on to the next topic.
What you keep bringing back to this, like implying them somehow like taking advantage of the
He
system.
does.
Like that's the
I'm not saying that. I'm saying
that's
that
the
you're
pure
I'm saying
implication
that
you're doing. Yeah,
I'm saying
all of
that
this
you're
is
on the
work
affordable-
expenses, or work expenses, my friend.
So
I also have insanely high medical bills because I have a chronic health condition.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't be on the Affordable Care Act. I'm saying
Oh,
that
yeah, I should
You're just
mention
kind of
the
like,
puppy.
what
And he was directly hinting that this guy is just sucking off the government tit. But the puppy back there, you know, when I first started watching this, it's not now that I noticed it, but when I first started watching this, I thought that was a pillow laying there because all I saw was a white and the puppy didn't move. But as soon as that puppy moved, I was like, oh, puppy.
one thing I want to go back to before we move on to the next thing.
you offered that information. I didn't look it up.
Yeah, I know, but you keep like harping on it as if
I
it's
said
like
it 3 times.
yeah, but the okay, whatever, doesn't matter. Let's assume I misread you. Doesn't matter. The part I want to go back to is what I think was the ridiculous claim you made in your opening statement, which is that this bill is actually gonna what do you say? It's gonna actually not only it's not just gonna increase the budget, it's also gonna cut the budget by $3 billion or something like that.
No, they say so. If I'm reading this correctly, right? The
You're
tax cuts are going to. I thought that I was reading it as the tax cuts
You
are going
didn't.
to bring in $3 trillion over 10 years.
But
That's
you read
not what it
incorrectly.
said.
I think. Hold on.
Nope.
Let me see. And by the way, I'm using Grok. So.
Oh, now you're
if
going to
I'm wrong,
argue
I
about
will
using
concede if I'm
Grok.
wrong.
Okay, so just concede on that point that it's not
So
gonna.
you're saying that the
He
tax
won't.
cuts, right? The tax cuts are going to be the thing that add the 3 trillion, because that would leave
Yep.
only 8.8 trillion to the rest.
And they're
I
going to
think
remove the
that's not
bank
correct.
as
No,
well.
what I'm saying is the bill in totality will add 3.4 trillion to the deficit.
Clear cut energy incentives, raise the debt ceiling. Yeah, see, I don't like raising the debt ceiling.
Yeah, because you didn't read what you presented. Now you're being forced to read what you presented, and reality is hitting. That's what that look is on your face, is that you're reading finally the bullshit you presented.
Yeah, I mean, there's a
Well,
lot of bad things in here. But the point is like, okay, I'll give you time, take a look, no pressure. But
No, no.
like, you just have to. Yeah, I
So
just want you.
do you think that codifying the 2017 tax cuts is a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad thing. Bad thing. All of the 2017 tax cuts were for the wealthy. They did absolutely nothing for the poor or middle class. They only affected the top 1%. So codifying those is bad. And why would they put a moonlight on all of the other parts of this bill? Why would they put a moonlight on the parts that affects only the poor, only the middle class. I'm not talking about I'm talking about middle class, everybody that's not really rich.
The tax cuts that were primarily for the rich.
What do you mean primarily for the rich?
Well, the 2017 tax cuts primarily went to the top 1%.
Okay,
Yep.
so let's talk about that because
Wait, no, but first I want to.
He's trying to avoid the conversation about how he read Grok wrong, and he was asked to admit that he either read it wrong or he was trying to twist the debate in his favor, regardless of what Grok said.
Get you to clearly admit that you were incorrect about that one thing.
I don't know because I'm scrolling through and it's
Just stop changing the topic then.
I think we've spent an hour.
No, this is important. You said that if you're wrong about something, you will acknowledge it.
Listen. We're not.
He's not going to admit it.
Up whether or not I read something correctly or incorrectly, and we're not going to stay on this.
Wait, you don't have to look it up. All you have to do is read the thing that you pulled up from Grok and see if it said exactly what you said. It didn't. It didn't say that. You said that it's going to add revenue and that it's going to remove the deficit. Instead, it is going to add a deficit and remove revenue. It is the most bass-backward bill. It's $6 trillion out of our government. Totally gone. Gone where? To the 0.1%. In your own evidence, your own Grok garbage that pulled up, which oddly enough, I'll have to compliment Grok, was accurate. You read it wrong and you refused to just admit that you read it wrong. What type of integrity is this? What type of integrity is it to just sit there and continue to argue, even though it's right in your face that you read it wrong?
Fucking topic for another half hour.
Yeah, I know, because
you want to die
because you just made that shit up or you misread it. Just own the fact that you were wrong about this one thing.
I don't think I was, but we're not going to do that.
Even Grok disagrees with you.
How many times?
Wait, let's just think about this intuitively before we try to change the topic.
Let's Sarah's face. How many times have we said we're going to move on to a new topic?
Because you refuse to actually acknowledge responsibility. You just keep dodging this like the Matrix.
We're moving on.
No, not until you get a clear, I get a clear acknowledgement that you were incorrect about this one fact.
Alex, we are moving on.
I'm not moving on until we get a clear acknowledgement on this.
Then we'll just end the debate because we're moving on.
And that would be a rage quit. That's exactly what that would be. Now, I understand Sarah stepping in and trying to make everything nice here. And she does. I think maybe she didn't hear him explain it exactly wrong from what Grok said, and then him read out loud what Grok said and then try to twist it, even though it was wrong. But I do agree that she should have probably stepped in. This is a good point for her to step in and okay, settle down, boys.
Okay, if you want to run away, that's fine. But
this is little bitches. That's enough. Both of you.
What's so hard about admitting you were wrong about this one thing?
I was wrong, and we can move on. I don't think anybody actually.
He won't.
Cares.
You know you were wrong.
I don't know if I'm wrong.
Well, let's think about this.
Saying we're wrong on.
I just said I don't know.
Let's just think.
So what you're doing is you're saying unless you say you're wrong.
Super shot.
Stopping. This is like one thing you said that was that
it puts the lotion in its skin, or else it gets the hose again.
Fat man's back in town, penguin.
While this bill will add 3.4 trillion to the deficit, it's also going to bring like $3 billion back.
Can I say that I could be wrong? Is that okay?
He did already concede to the point earlier. He said, "I am using Grok, so if I'm wrong, then it's wrong."
And the Grok literally said the opposite thing that he thought he was saying.
Bro,
it did. Grok said the opposite thing that he thought he was saying, and then he's still trying to string it that it was right or that you misunderstood it.
Can I say
not that he read it wrong? No, he would never admit that. It was your fault for misunderstanding it that he read wrong.
say
No,
it's
he said that
possible I'm wrong.
Misfit, what he clarified that point. He said, I think you're just reading it wrong, Alex.
No, that's not what he said. Well, yeah, that's what he said. He's just reading it wrong. But that's not what happened. What happened was Misfit read what Grok said wrong and then tried to string Grok to say what he was trying to say, even though it didn't. It said contrary to what Misfit is arguing. Misfit presented evidence within the debate multiple times, as a matter of fact. Misfit presented evidence that undermined his argument entirely. Anyway, as always, you guys are awesome. Remember, you don't have to be wise, just don't submit to stupid. Thank you very much, and have a good day. Enjoy the drone flight.
Ground things pound their feet, drowning on the street, things without feet, right beneath me, and it's seeing all what I see, things that amaze me, it fills my dreams when I sleep. Open and that can fly, a penguin that can fly. Scurry by, pounding their feet while I touch the sky, sliding, gliding, without a care. They'll never know the wonders up here. In the sky, I'm a penguin flying high, living life with no questions why. I wonder how the ground things carry on, never experiencing the beauty I taught. That can fly.
Nightmares, they are out there, sucking up life, devourers of souls. Not mere myths, but a chilling truth to bear. Evil images from lore, revealing their ghastly roles. What are these beastly things of fright? Could be a friend or the stranger you met last night. Legends of tales, each one holds a grain of truth. Hidden beasts within us waiting to break loose. But listen closely, For this is not the beast I see, not the primal instincts that dwell in the deep. No, it's the ones who revel in the dark release, twisting truth, bending laws, the flaws they came. They find joy in chaos, delight in pain. Their hearts tainted, their minds unchained. They dance on the edge where shadows meet light. Their existence a paradox both wrong and right. They wear masks of civility and harbor dark desires.
I love this part.
Discord, stoking the fires, and after echoes in the corridors of power. A symphony of malevolence, growing louder by the hour. Listen closely, for this is not the beast I seek, not the primal instincts that dwell in the deep. No, it's the ones who revel in the dark release, twisting truth, bending laws, the flaws they came. Civility and harbor dark desires, feeding on discord, stoking the fires. The echoes in the corridors of power, a symphony of malevolence, growing louder by the hour. But listen closely, for this is not the beast I seek, not the primal instincts that dwell in the deep. No, it's the ones who revel in the dark release, twisting truth, bending laws, the flaws they came. The bustling streets where sirens wail and taxis race. A lost penguin roams, its flippers out of place. Among skyscrapers and billboards, it seeks a hidden truth, for it knows the darkest spots within the absolute. What are these enigmatic souls of the night? Could be your barista or the artist by the street light. Urban legends whisper tales of their disguise. Hidden villains among us, you can find them by their lies. Listen closely, for this is not the foe I seek, not the mundane wrongdoers who blend in so sleek. No, it's the ones who thrive on secrets and deceit, bending rules, distorting facts and motives incomplete. The penguin feathers ruffled by nonsense, tracking footprints of malevolence beneath the city trees. Their waddles past coffee shops where laptops come and brew. Their existence a paradox, both lost and true. They say their every word is true, yet harbor hidden fires, a simple hate for you, feeding on chaos.
Yeah, I think I watched it. It might be coming up. Maybe not really exciting, but interesting.
Listen closely, for this is not the foe I seek, not the ordinary schemers who play hide and seek. No, it's the ones who revel in the dark release, twisting narratives, bending laws, the flaws they seek. Strong last hate, dwellers of the shadows of grace, while they walk among us, leaving traces of disgrace. Their hunger insatiable, their motives unclear. In this concrete jungle, who will emerge is still there.
Sometimes doo-doo goes to doo-doo, and there ain't doo-doo you can do. You just say, well, doo-doo, and let doo-doo happen to you. A song of doo-doo, pocket full of this. Life's a mess, but we can't resist. Doo-doo, I'm tired, but I'll persist. Doo-doo into doo-doo again, what a twist. Next week the word is gonna be poop. Substitute the S word, it's a new scoop. When life gives you doo-doo, don't you droop, just laugh it off and join the poop troop. A song of doo-doo, pocket full of piss. Life's a mess, but we can't resist. Doo-doo, I'm tired, but I'll persist. Doo-doo into doo-doo
This
again,
was
what a
actually
twist.
copied from a chat and turned into a song.
In the land of doo-doo, we all unite. Through the stink and the mess, we see the light. With a smile on our face, we take the fight, turning doo-doo days into something bright. A song of doo-doo, pocket full of piss. Life's a mess, but we can't resist. Doo-doo, I'm tired, but I'll persist. Doo-doo into doo-doo again, what a twist. When doo-doo hits the fan, just take a stand, with a smile on your face and a poop in your hand. Life's a crazy ride, but we'll make it grand. In the land of doo-doo, we'll make our stand. From the bathroom to the backyard, doo-doo's everywhere, but we won't let it bring us down. We don't care, we'll dance through the doo-doo without a scare. In the doo-doo kingdom, we'll always fare. A song of doo-doo, pocket full of piss. Life's a mess, but we can't resist. Doo-doo, I'm tired, but I'll persist. Doo-doo into doo-doo again, what a twist. So fret, just sing this song and don't forget. Life's full of doo-doo, but it's not over yet. We'll laugh through the doo-doo with no regrets.
Yeah, they did make some good comments. As always. Bye. Don't know what the heck I'm doing.
Penguins.